Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and today we have two really interesting bits of news to go over. One of them is Activision apparently is now open to fan feedback, and the other bit of news is Call of Duty just straight up lying once again about listening to fan feedback. I know the two of those are completely juxtaposed, but that's the Call of Duty franchise right now, man. Activision has been speaking out of both sides of their mouth for a while now, and frankly, it's just because they're scrambling, they're panicking, and all the videos and coverage you've been seeing aren't just for fun. That's genuinely what's happening with the COD franchise right now and what's happening within Activision. They don't know what to do, so let's just go ahead and jump into today's video. First things first, the big lie. It just came out today, and we've seen this all before, right? They make changes to the game that are objectively bad. Like, anyone who would see it would just say, that's a terrible update, that's a terrible change. These are things that nobody asked for, and then the developers come out and say, oh, you guys don't like that? We're so sorry. We're going to revert that change because we value your feedback. It's a really scummy manipulation tactic, and they've done it before within Black Ops 6. Who remembers when they nerfed the directed mode in Zombies, where they made us wait nearly a full minute in between rounds because apparently fans were having too much fun, just for them to eventually revert the change like a day or so later? Well, they basically did that again. So here we see their statement saying that with Season 2 Reloaded, they were going to make it so if you got your loadout and died within Warzone, you could not get your loadout again from that same box. Like, what? Like, grabbing your loadout over and over is a core part of Resurgence, and it's even a big part of playing on Big Map, because if you die and you get brought back in, you need to grab your loadout to be competitive. This wouldn't be a problem if Warzone was a bit more like Blackout and everybody had to survive on ground loot, but this is Warzone we're talking about. Activision made the concerted effort to make loadouts a core part of the game mode, and then out of nowhere, they're just like, nah, go use a different loadout drop because reasons, there's a bug or something like that. This, of course, was met with a metric ton of negative fan feedback from the Warzone community, and just a few hours later, Raven Software released this tweet here saying, "We hear you. The previously announced change to limit repeated loadout drop access after death has been removed from Season 2 Reloaded." It's so obvious what they're doing here, man. It was clearly a bad move. It made zero sense. Even for people like me who don't really play Warzone, I could even tell that was a bad decision, and I think we're completely out of conspiracy theory territory at this point. It's no longer a conspiracy, it's just fact. They're doing this shit on purpose. When there isn't a lot going on with the game, they make a really stupid change just so they can revert it and try to make themselves look like the good guys who listen to their player base. It's blatantly obvious. People are mad that Season 2 Reloaded does literally nothing for Warzone besides add one perk that encourages crouch walking, so they tried to save face with this little switcheroo today, though thankfully, it seems like everybody was able to see straight through their bullshit. The next bit of news I want to cover here today is Activision's new plan, their new effort, if you will, to save Call of Duty from its dwindling player base. They've tried the infinite double XP route, they've tried the event after event after event route. Nothing is working so far. So yesterday in their blog post, and I talked about this and teased it in a previous video, but I really feel as though this warrants its own separate video, they announced something called the Call of Duty Recon Squad. And essentially what this is going to be is it's going to be a Call of Duty focus group where fans can give feedback to the devs and basically be paid in COD points and skins. And no, I'm not joking when I say that. Here we see in the blog post, our commitment to community feedback remains unwavering and ongoing as we strive with our continuing mission, make our games social and fun. We truly value your opinions and feedback on what matters to you. With this in mind, and in addition to the usual methods of communication, our players will now have a new way to give their feedback. Introducing the Call of Duty Recon Squad. While playing Call of Duty, you may be invited to join the Call of Duty Recon Squad operated by Fuel Cycle. If you're wondering what Fuel Cycle is, I had to look this up myself. It is going to be a community platform for insight and research, essentially. The Community Recon Squad is a Fuel Cycle research community that will be active throughout the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and Call of Duty Warzone seasons. You'll have opportunities to provide feedback through surveys, online community discussion boards, and potentially be invited to focus groups. And best of all, any feedback you provide will earn points in the Recon Squad that you can redeem for Black Ops 6 and or Warzone in-game items. Fuel Cycle community research topics will be centered on recently released Black Ops 6 and Call of Duty Warzone content and many other topics related to Call of Duty. We're interested in hearing what you have to say about recent maps, modes, and other seasonal content from our games. This Fan Cycle community is invite only, so you won't be able to forward this to any of your friends or family to have them sign up, so any invite you receive is just for you. All types of players are being invited, no matter the modes or number of hours you play. We want to hear from you. If you receive an invite from Call of Duty via the email related to your Activision ID, don't miss out on this chance to have your voice heard and score some in-game items as a result. This is honestly pretty interesting to me. It seems like Activision is looking for more feedback surrounding the content that they're putting into the game, and hopefully they'll also be discussing things like skill-based matchmaking and things with the anti-cheat, because those are the biggest problems within the Call of Duty franchise itself. Now, obviously, it's going to be invite only. You have to check your email to even find out if you're invited to this Call of Duty Recon squad, and I'm curious to know whether or not the people that get invited, whether or not they will be put under NDA, or whether or not the people that are in there can openly tell the rest of the community exactly what's happening on the inside and the topics that are being discussed. I mean, talking about the idea of having these discussion boards and things like that, like, I would love to be a part of that. I would give my feedback in a very constructive, like, non-attacking way. Like, I'd be very professional about it, but just lay out X, Y, and Z about why skill-based matchmaking is bad, why a functioning anti-cheat must be a priority for the franchise, and why AI needs to have much less of a stranglehold on the overall development of the game. Like, I think it'd be interesting to see what is going to be said within these focus groups themselves. But the thing is, the only people that are going to be a part of this are going to be your serious to straight up hardcore fans. They always talk about protecting the casual player base, right? That's why the matchmaking algorithm is the way that it is. But do you think those average, like those super casual average fans that they cater the entire game to, do you think they're going to be checking their email to find out whether or not they're going to be part of like the Call of Duty Recon squad? Like, I'm not sure that's something they're ever even going to consider. Like, who's actively checking the email that's associated with their Activision ID, for crying out loud? And also, if you see something from Activision in your email, are you likely to open it? Like, I know they're trying to get people to join this by offering essentially COD points and bundles and skins and stuff like that, but just, I don't see super casual players checking their email to find out about this. In fact, they only mentioned it in a blog post. It's not like it's a trailer or a commercial or anything like that, like something a more casual fan would see. This was at the very bottom of the patch notes of a blog post for Season 2 Reloaded. Like, I don't see the casual player base knowing anything about this. Only the hardcore fans are going to know about this. Therefore, the feedback that they get will probably be pretty good for the Call of Duty franchise as a whole. Like, you're serious to hardcore fans, if you're going to ask them their genuine opinion of the game and the state of the franchise right now, they're going to be able to tell them, right? Now, some people might be put off by that. Some people might be like, well, I kind of want to get my free COD points. I guess I'll be nice. And I think that's what Activision's kind of banking on there. But I feel like a lot of people that get into this are going to straight up tell Activision what is wrong with the game, and Activision will be forced to see it. So that could be very interesting. Something I'm worried about, however, is this going to be more of a fluff piece overall, right? Is this going to be something that they do, you know, for a week, maybe a month or something like that, and then slowly stop signing in, slowly stop updating it, and kind of forget about it altogether? Or will this be something that they seriously consider and update over time and always use it as a vehicle to communicate with their community? That would be the ideal situation, but I'm also worried that most of the topics of conversation that Activision are going to put out there are going to be like, so do you like spending $80 for the new Ninja Turtle skins? Like, that's pretty fun, right? Like, the Squid Game event, that was fantastic, right? Like, you guys all enjoyed that. Like, we need more bundles. Black Cell, what about more battle passes? I think you guys probably want more battle passes in the game. What about double XP? I feel like you guys don't get enough double XP. Should we add more double XP? It's like, no, dude, these are not the issues. We're not here to talk about the shop. We're not here to talk about bundles. We're not here to talk about fucking events or anything like that. We're here to talk about the core underlying problems with the Call of Duty franchise and the reason why 66% of your player base have left the game and Call of Duty has become just a joke now, right? Like, no one cares about COD. Nobody talks about COD. The only videos on YouTube that do remotely well anymore are just people shitting on the game because nobody's happy with the state of the franchise right now. Like, that is how bad things are. Let's fix this. Let's address this. Let's get back to when Call of Duty was freaking good, man. Let's get back to pre-Modern Warfare 2019 where the game was just organically fun. You didn't have to come up with like double XP weekends and perpetual double XP and having event after event after event just to try to artificially increase your player retention numbers, when if you put out a good game that is genuinely fun to play, that does not have matchmaking designed to butt fuck you at every turn, you will have organic player retention. People will sign in and play because they want to sign in and play, instead of having the FOMO of missing out on the double XP weekend or missing out on a new freaking Ninja Turtle event or whatever. They're basically capitalizing on FOMO, the fear of missing out, right? That's all they're doing right now, just events and like little updates and things like that to try to get people to sign in, but people don't care because without those events, they don't really sign in, period. So why would they care about the events? Like, I don't play this game, but there's an event, maybe I should sign in, but who cares? Because whatever I get from the event, I'm not going to use because I don't play the game unless there's an event, you know? Like, I'm rambling at this point, but this is something that I'm very passionate about, and I don't expect to be part of this. I don't expect them to email me whatsoever, though stranger things have happened. Who remembers towards the beginning of Black Ops 6 where whoever over at the Activision PR team decided to reach out to me about putting my videos in an ad had for Black Ops 6. Like, that was freaking weird. Basically, long story short, if you do that, you sign your soul over to the devil. They have perpetual rights to your likeness and your name and stuff like that. And I wanted nothing to do with it. I did not sign that, and Activision has not reached out to me whatsoever. And in fact, I made a couple of videos about it, so they probably didn't like that being exposed. So I don't anticipate myself being part of this, but I will be curious to see what actually happens with this and when emails start to roll out and what is actually going to be discussed over within the Call of Duty Recon squad. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for this video here today. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts and feedback on today's topics down there in the comments. Thank you all so much for listening, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.